Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to this 6 month podcast series where I have officially left my day job as of the beginning of March. And now we are in week 20. All right, week 20 of being self employed, not having a regular 9 to 5 job. And this podcast series has been diving into all the things that I've been working on behind the scenes to build my brands, to build the Empowered by Women community, to build my new coaching offer, which was launched during this 6 months together, to start ramping back up on Book of Bijou, which is my product line that really is what led to me launching Empowered by Women, and also building out my speaking business and figuring out a sponsorship program and doing all the things and figuring out what systems I need to put in place, and also the mindset aspect of it, because mindset is just such a huge part of business. So I talk about that quite a bit, and it's really been interesting just seeing how my perspective on certain things have already just shifted in this time together. So I am so glad I committed to this 6 month series. If you caught the last couple of episodes, part of me was like, there was a part of me that was kind of regretting it because it felt like this ticking clock of failure. If I'm being absolutely blunt, but now we're back. We're back in the game. Okay. So if any of you are looking to leave your day job and go all in on your business, or maybe you already left, or maybe you're just feeling like there's the stagnation in your business and you're looking to build the momentum again, you're trying to get some clarity on how to move forward, this podcast is for you. Okay. So I hope you continue to stick around. If you haven't caught the previous episodes, get caught up so you can be a part of this whole journey. But we are in week 20. I really, honestly, when I said that to myself right before I started recording, I was like, is that right? That can't be right that we're already in week 20, because that means 5 months have already passed. That means I really only have a month left to take care of some really big goals. And I actually went back on my calendar. I looked back at our past episodes to make sure I counted everything right. We really are in week 20, and that blows my mind. And I know that there are some months that technically are like 5 weeks, which is kind of why it was throwing me off. So really, the first week of September would be the official, okay, it's been a full 6 months. So that's what we're going to go to. Okay. The full 6 months. I feel like in terms of the main goals that I've set for myself, I'm almost like nowhere near that, but I also feel really good about where I am. So I'm hoping that that sentiment really like sits well with a lot of you that are listening that have set pretty lofty goals for yourself, and maybe you're feeling a little defeated or you're feeling a little discouraged because you haven't made the progress that you're hoping to see. And while I don't feel like I'm close to getting those goals, I feel like I have done so much to support the continued progress towards those goals. And that's why I feel really good. I probably also feel really good because I just had a client call like in the last couple of hours that went really amazing. So I always get lit up after my client calls, and that is definitely contributing to my energy right now as I do this podcast. I need to make sure, well, actually, maybe not. I was going to say I need to make sure that I'm always recording these episodes when I'm like in good spirits and feeling really great. But at the same time, I actually don't think I want to do that, because I want to also share the real side of entrepreneurship, because I don't want to be a highlight reel. That is not part of my brand. My brand is like, I am an open freaking book. I will share when I'm low. I will share when I'm high, because I want everyone listening to recognize that it's so normal and expected to have those low moments, to have the self-doubt, to have the imposter syndrome, to feel like you're spinning in circles, to feel the chaos. Obviously, there are systems that you can put in place to kind of detract from that and to minimize that, but we still all go through it. Okay. So, any entrepreneur out there that tells you that life is perfect, that everything is working exactly as expected, they're lying to you. Okay. Or they've just been in the game for 20 years, whatever. They've hired all the people, they've spent tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars having people build out their systems, that they've made it to a point where now they can go ahead and sit in that seamless business, whatever that they've built, and that's wonderful for them. But anyone that's new to the game and says that they've got it all figured out, they're lying to you or they're selling themselves short. Okay, so let's just throw that out there. So let's see. Let's start with some wins, or a win. Let me see. Do I have multiple wins? I do have one win that I want to share, and I got my second pay in full client. Patting myself on the back. Freaking excited. And I just love the people that I work with. I love the people that I work with. And I just think that it's so important to want to call in more of that. And one of the clients that I'm working with, she felt stuck because she had been supporting a specific type of client in a specific type of way and realized that that's not at all what she was doing. And that led her to feeling very stuck and feeling very like confused about how to move forward and how she's supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be showing it. And this is why I've been focusing so much on getting clarity with my clients, or allowing them to get clarity, right, on who they are, who they want to be, what is the lifestyle they want to create, what is the business that they want to create, how do they want to position themselves, and who do they want to work with? Because once we get that down, then we can get really clear on our messaging and how we're showing up and who we're showing up in front of, right? So not just, sharing everything to everyone, because that just doesn't make sense. That's visibility for the sake of visibility, but that's not visibility with structure. That's not visibility with intention. And that's what we want to build. And it's been so interesting going through this journey of supporting my clients in this way, because I feel like it's, even though like visibility, for a while I've been feeling like that's my thing, going through this process has given me so much more perspective on what visibility really means. And it really is not just this surface level thing. And it can show up in so many different ways. And I think part of me at the very beginning was feeling a little hesitation and self-doubt, because I was like, what if I can't land them a big partnership or a magazine opportunity or a press opportunity or whatever, or get them like 100,000 clients, you know what I mean? Because that, I feel like, is what society perceives as visible. And in doing this work, I realized again that visibility shows up in so many different ways, and we don't want visibility for the sake of visibility. No, I just said that. But when you get clear on your foundation and what your brand ecosystem is, then you can show up and build your visibility in a way that feels very organic, in a way that feels very natural and feels very aligned. And that is what we want, right? Because when you show up with intention and with authenticity and with integrity and with a purpose in mind and passion to back it, then you're showing up in front of the right people, and you're beginning to nurture this audience that will stay in your world and that aren't just there for like a trendy reel or some quick collab that didn't even really like excite you. You know what I mean? So that is what we're building. We're building sustainable visibility. We're building structural visibility, and we're building visibility that just feels really freaking good. So I'm super lit up about all of it. Fun fact. I feel like I've used that phrase a lot, that I'm like lit up about everything. And I said that to Daniel the other day, that I was like, it was probably the way that I capitalized it, because I told him, I said, I am so lit, in all caps. I am so lit up about the future. And then he was like, that's not how you use lit. And I was like, that can't be the way to use it. And you just use it in like the hip way. I use it in probably the old fashioned way, where I'm just lit up. But I'm not saying that I'm lit. I'm saying that I'm lit up. So just FYI, there's two versions to it, okay? So anyways, it's been interesting. Like I said, my perspective has really been shifting on visibility and how I can truly, truly, truly support my clients. And so it's been interesting as I'm preparing for my webinar with SCORE at the beginning of next month, or it's on the 7th, and I'm building this out. And it was originally really, really focused on the collaboration aspect, right? Strategic collaborations and partnerships aspect of visibility and how you can leverage existing aligned audiences. And that's something that I still wholeheartedly believe in, but I've just been getting so incredibly passionate about laying down the foundation of it all that it's been like an interesting, like I have to like kind of like shift my mind whenever I'm working on that presentation because I've already created the copy for it and it very is more of the outward facing visibility. Where we're talking about partnerships, where we're talking about collaboration. So I feel like if I continue to do webinars with SCORE, which I do plan on doing, that is going to be one of the ways that I would like to bring in my leads for my coaching clients. I think that after this one, I'm going to shift the webinar quite a bit so that it does have this heavier focus on foundation and potentially even AI. I'm kind of debating on separating those two completely, which I might do, and then just have a rotation of building foundational visibility or foundations that support visibility, and then also having a second webinar in rotation that is going to be really, really focused on how do you leverage AI to automate and implement systems into your business so you're not doing all of the heavy lifting. So I'm curious to see how this webinar comes out. It's going to be fire no matter what, obviously, because I'm going to hold myself to a very high standard and I want to make sure that the people that attend this webinar are still getting a lot of great content. So it's for me as much as it is for them, if not more for them. And in order to prepare myself even further, I did already announce that I'm going to be doing the workshop for our Empowered by Women community. So that's up at our website. If you want to register, I'm doing it on August 1st. Replays are only available replays are available for the first 24 hours to anyone that registers. And then lifetime replays are available to our exclusive members. And then I am also going to be doing an AI workshop for our community the following month. I haven't yet put together a presentation for it for SCORE, but I do want to just give our community the tools to really, really leverage AI the way that I have been leveraging it lately and not just using the surface level prompts and, really just peeling back the layers of what is possible with AI because it truly can give you so much clarity and condense time like crazy. It is crazy. It's mind-blowing. Do I use AI with my clients? Yes, if they give me permission. And I have asked my past two clients because now that I've really invested time into learning AI myself, now I feel comfortable really sharing it and helping them to implement it for themselves. So I do ask for permission if they want to incorporate AI into their strategy because I know there's some people that don't want that, and that's totally okay. Like I said, when I'm building with my clients, we dive deep into what it is that they want, right? What do they want to create and what feels really good to them? Because if it doesn't feel good, then it's not sustainable. So today with my client, we literally went into ChatGPT. She bought the paid version and we built out her first GPT. And it's given her so much clarity in terms of her positioning, right? Because she was very much in this transitional phase of making the decision to really, really dive into building this business, which she was kind of on the teeter-totter, for a lack of a better word, of whether or not she was really going to commit to this business. And now she's made that decision that yes, she is. So we are leveraging AI to help give that clarity. And so that she is not spending so much time overthinking all of the little details, all the little nuances, right? All of the wording and the way that she's articulating her message. She has it in her head and she's had clients and she's had the success and she's had these testimonials. And now how do you share that, right? How do you condense the messaging so it's as impactful as possible when you're showing up in the digital space and when you're talking to people in a networking event, whatever that is? You can leverage AI in that sense. And it's not just always about just like having it create copy that feels very generic. No, you get to train AI as if it's your own personal assistant that you like, just how you would train a VA and tell your VA, like, I wouldn't write that, like, do it again. This is how I write. This is what we want to communicate. This is how we want to communicate it. So I know. I told my girl Nikki, I was like, if my AI talk ever gets really annoying, just like tell me to shut up. But AI has become my best friend and I love it. All right, what's next? So it's also interesting because I'm building out multiple things simultaneously, right? We have the Empowered by Women community, where you guys already know about the community, so I'm not going to tell you about it. We have the Empowered by Women community. I have my coaching offer. I have my speaking business. I want to build out a sponsorship program. And then I also have Book of Bijou, which is our product line. And I almost have like different strategies for each one. And I think younger, more naive me would have been like, well, then that's a terrible thing. That probably means you don't know what you're doing because you're not implementing like one strong strategy across everything. And that means like your strategies don't work. False. There is no one size fits all when it comes to business. And I'm really liking the way that I'm like now able to tailor my strategies depending on what the business is. So with the Empowered by Women community, obviously community forward, like that's literally what we're building. So I feel like I've been kind of quiet in that space because I have been trying to really reflect on how do we refine our value proposition, right? How do we refine what it is that this community is all about? And how do we continue to implement all of these value adds where it's not such a heavy lift on my end, but it really is creating such a memorable experience for all of our members that they want to keep coming back, that they're able to keep connecting. And I had such an epiphany moment today. And I'm so excited because we are going to be implementing a new members only perk. I'm just going to share it. I wasn't sure if I was going to share it, but we're going to be doing member hosted office hours, which I'm really freaking excited about. And I had gone back and forth about different ideas for like the past few weeks. And I told you that we had our virtual networking event in partnership with Harvest Goal Collective a few weeks ago. And she was telling me all these things that she was implementing in her business. And I was like, I mean, that sounds like a really great idea and it's obviously working for you. But there was still something that didn't feel like it was aligned for what I wanted to build. And that's something that I want you all to take away with too. Just because something is working for someone else and just because they're doing it and it's working really well and people are loving it, doesn't make it a great fit for what you have to offer. So I have been thinking about it like, what is this thing? I know there's something there that I want to be able to offer our members, but I can't quite figure it out in my head of what that looks like. And I had this epiphany today as I was coming home from the gym and I was like, member hosted office hours. We have the Momentum workshops, which are virtual workshops on a monthly basis. I'm actually doing my workshops as kind of like bonus Momentum workshops. But when we bring in members, it's just going to be one workshop a month at the end of the month. It's like a 60 to 90 minute session. They have a presentation and people register, go through the presentation, and there's a little bit of hands-on interactive throughout that session. And it's open to both members or to the public. But I wanted to, again, start incorporating more exclusivity to our members because that's what's going to get people incentivized to join, right? And then excited to stick around. And I wanted to create more opportunity for connection with our members. So we recently did the monthly co-working, which is still sticking around. And I've only committed to once a month, which has felt good to me. Who knows what that will look like in the future, but I'm not in the space of overcommitting right now. Again, doing everything with intention and with the idea in mind of sustainability. And I've thought of like, we've done the virtual networking with Harvest Goal Collective. Like, what if we just do it within the community? That's still something that I'm toying with. I haven't really settled on something that feels really good in terms of how often, what does that look like? Is it just members only? I feel like it will be only members. Well, actually, no, I've been going back and forth on that. So I haven't landed on anything that feels really good with that yet, which is why I'm not going to announce it and implement it yet. Again, doing everything with intention. But with this member hosted virtual office hours, that felt so good because any of our members, our paid active members, can get involved with this. They don't have to wait for a Momentum workshop to open up because obviously opportunity is only once a month, and there's only 12 months in the year, so not everyone can get in. Um, and I don't need to physically be there or even virtually be there for each of these office hours. And it doesn't have to be this big production of like, we're hoping to get in a whole bunch of signups. Like, if anyone wants to show up and has questions regarding whatever topic is your zone of genius, they get to come and ask you those questions, right? So it's not like, let's say, I mean, I wouldn't do anything for Book of Bijou. Let's say if I was just a member within our community and I wanted to host an office hour specifically for like collaborative visibility strategy, that would be the theme of the office hour. And I would just be online. And if any of our members wanted to show up and say like, hey, Crystal, like I have this incredible jewelry organizer product and I'm trying to figure out like, how do we keep building our audience and like who I could potentially partner with? Like, what do you think? And then I can go in and like audit that person's branding and their digital presence and come up with really great ideas of who they could partner with and how they can show up. And it's like an opportunity for Q&A. It's an opportunity for the auditing. It's an opportunity for connection, which is something that I was really, that was like a mandatory box that needed to be checked off. The opportunity to connect with other members. And not only that, it's an additional value add for the members hosting their office hours, because if anyone that attends their office hour is interested in working with that person further, they get to share their offer with them, right? So if they have like, oh, I actually have a 6-month container where I work directly with clients, if you're needing more support, like they can share that offer. So I am super excited about this. And as soon as I'm done recording this podcast episode, I'm actually going to go into Wix and start building it out a little bit and seeing what that looks like. But I think it's going to be wonderful. I think our members are going to love it. I am, like I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to repeat this all the time, wanting to build with intention. And so before I even decided to share this with you and before I started building it out online, I went into our group chat with our exclusive members and said, hey, like this is an idea that I have in mind that I think you guys will love, but I would love your input first because I want to make sure that I'm pouring energy into things that are actually going to bring you value, right? Instead of me just assuming it's going to bring value, actually doing the research and asking the questions and opening it up for input and for feedback. So a few of them have responded and said they would love to attend one, and they would love to host one, or they would love both. So it seems like that is what we're going to be doing. And I'm really excited to build on that. To build on the topic of the market research, I finally sent out a survey, which I had been wanting to do for a while for a couple of reasons. For one, the idea of the survey, I think really was pushed because of the sponsorship program that I want to build out. Because from the webinars that I've been attending in regards to how do you land sponsors and what strategies do you need to put in place for that, you do need some market research. You need data to back it, because these brands, apparently the trend is that, a lot of brands are seeing that there isn't a lot of ROI from sponsoring events, because it's not just about logo placement. It's not just about like having a branded photo section. It's really about how are they engaging with our audience that we're curating for them, right? What does the ROI look like? What is the transformation of our events that we're putting on, that we're bringing them into? And also, who are the people that we're bringing into the space? Because we want to make sure that we are putting them in front of the audience, their ideal audience. So in one of those trainings, it was like, do you have all this data? And I was like, I probably have like a third of that, maybe a quarter of it. And so I really knew that I needed to get a survey out there. So I finally created one. And then I also threw in some additional questions about like, what are you loving about Empowered by Women and what do you want to see more of? Because that helps me, again, move with more intention, understanding exactly what people are looking for and what they really love already, so that we can continue building on that. So we did get some responses, which is great. I am going to dive more into that. Maybe after we're doing a little win $100 if you go ahead and submit your survey responses. So anyone in our community, if you're on our email list, then you would have gotten the link to the survey. So if you haven't answered it yet, please, please, please submit your responses. That would be wonderful. But as soon as you submit your response and send us a screenshot of your confirmation, then you will be entered to win $100. And we're going to pick the winner on the 27th. So I think after that time, then I'm really going to dive into what the responses are so we can do some really amazing things with it. All right, so that's that. Let's see. Book a bijou for my strategy on that side of things. Oh, okay, no, you know what? Sticking with Empowered by Women for a second. Another reason why I really wanted to implement something like this member hosted office hour, is because I wanted to create a higher frequency of opportunities to connect for our members across the board. And we are really trying to push our in-person communities across, not just in the Bay Area, but across the US, right? So in Los Angeles, in Milwaukee, in Florida, which we're going to be expanding to in the next month or so, a couple months, potentially even Arizona. But obviously, it takes time to build community. So while the in-person community is starting to build in those areas, how can they still get a lot out of the virtual community? So this is really where the member-hosted office hours are going to come into play. The monthly co-working is going to come into play, where we're still creating all of those opportunities to connect online, even if there is not a ton of in-person events going on. And even though here in the Bay Area, we do have a lot of events that are happening, because obviously this is where we got started. These next couple of months, I'm not putting a ton of events on the calendar because we have our big events happening in October, November, and I want to make sure that I can pour a lot of time and energy into planning those out. So I think that's really where my push to do something with virtual connection really came from. Speaking of our events for the end of the year, I also had a call today with another potential venue for our annual summit, which is on November 15th. We had a tentative venue that we retoured and realized wouldn't actually work the way that we were hoping it would work. So that's why we're kind of like trying to figure out a different venue, a backup venue. So I spoke with another venue today who may be able to sponsor their space. And it's a beautiful venue. Lauren and I went to go tour it. And I'm just like, y'all, we are leveling the F up. It's just going to be so much fun. So if you have not blocked out November 15th on your calendar, block it out. If you're not in the Bay Area, make plans to travel. It's going to be so much fun. I promise you, it's going to be so much fun. October 21st is our wellness summit. If you haven't blocked that out, block it out. It's a Tuesday event. Those are both all-day events. And our wellness event is going to have speakers and also bring in different wellness practitioners, which is really, really cool, because our attendees will be able to go and access these different workshops with these different practitioners, depending on whatever track they want to go down. And that's included in the ticket price. So you can get like 4 classes in one, all for one ticket price. So I'm super excited about that. That should be going live soon. Block out those days. Okay. All right, now moving on. Let's go book a bijou. It's been slow moving, and I think for good reason. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I'm building out simultaneously, so there's only so much time and effort I can pour into Book a Bijou, and I can't give to everything fully. It's just physically impossible, but I know that I can't not do anything with it. So I think I'm going to give myself a boundary of one market, a boundary and a goal of one in-person market per month. Our market coordinator, Elle, is not going to be in attendance at Five Suns this coming Sunday. So I'm going to be there. So there's my market for August. And from there, I want to have some visibility strategies happening on the back end. And this is really where my creative genius comes in, right? Because I came up with a really great plan. I hope I didn't share this with you guys yet. If so, I apologize for the repetition. But my plan with Book of Bijou, because I want to still be promoting it and not solely relying on Instagram, but also not heavily relying on pop-ups, because I don't want to physically be at pop-ups all the time. It's a lot of work, honestly, and they're tiring. They're great, but they're tiring, so I don't want to do too many of them. I'm going to be partnering with different jewelry brands. I'm going to be prioritizing the jewelry brands within the Empowered by Women community first. But basically, these jewelry brands that have already built audiences of jewelry lovers, and obviously my audience is also jewelry lovers since I'm selling a jewelry organizer, I am going to be creating these like postcard-sized flyers. I guess postcards, just postcards. You wouldn't call it a postcard flyer. I'm going to be creating these postcards for Book of Bijou and then sending out stacks to these jewelry brands that I'm partnering with. And they're going to include our postcards in the orders that they send out to their customers, right? So they get someone that's purchasing jewelry and then they send out a package and they slip in a Book of Bijou postcard to someone that already loves jewelry and that is already proven to like to spend money on jewelry and things of that nature. And now I am leveraging their audience without really me doing any work. The work that I'm doing is creating the postcard, shipping the postcards to them. And the way that I'm reciprocating support is that on the Book of Bijou website, I'm going to build out a section called Jewelry Brands We Love. And it's basically going to backlink to their website. So they get promoted on our site, and they're going to also send over some jewelry that I can photograph into our books. And so whenever we share those pictures, they'll also be tagged on our site. So win-win, right? And basically every time they're getting orders, they're also promoting us. And I think it's pretty freaking brilliant. So I need to carve out time to actually create those postcards. But that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about creative visibility strategy, right? Where you're not doing all the work and sharing your brand and having to talk to a million people so that people know about your brand. How are you partnering with other people that already have your ideal client existing in their audience? And how do you leverage their audience so that you can start bringing them in to your own audience, right? How do you do that in a very strategic way, in a way that's a win-win for both you and the brand that you're partnering with, and in a way that takes a lot off of your plate and still compounds your marketing efforts? All right, so I'll keep you updated on that. I might, depending on my capacity, which I know is very limited, have like a relaunch party for Book of Bijou. I am wanting to do that. I'm still kind of thinking things through in my head of how I want to do it. What it might look like is not necessarily a party, but I get the jewelry brands to send me jewelry and I will simultaneously do a product shoot and invite some members to do a headshot. And if they want to wear the jewelry for their headshot, they can do that as well. So it might be like a headshot, launch, product shoot, party. Even if I don't even know if it's a party. That's the idea that I have swirling in my brain. Okay, I think that's it for my notes for this episode. So week 20, there you have it. A lot of things going on, but I'm feeling really, really good about where we are and the progress that I'm making. And I know that this is a part of building the foundation, right? This is a part of building sustainability. This is a part of building a brand that actually lasts and that actually can continue to create impact for the people that it's serving, and a brand that also feels sustainable and aligns to me so that I am not leading myself to burnout, because nobody wants that. And I want to be able to spend time with my babies, and I want things working for me while I am going on vacation, which, by the way, going on vacation on Friday through next Wednesday. So there's probably not going to be a lot happening in the next episode. We're taking the kids on a little summer vacation We're going down to San Diego. We're going to take them to Legoland, and it's going to be a fun time. And I just really want to be able to continue to create spaces and opportunities for a family connection, because that's what matters, right? So you guys are amazing. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. I appreciate you always tuning in, and I appreciate you for what you're about to do, which is screenshot this or share it with the people that you know are going to love it. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support, for being here, for tuning in. And again, if you are interested in being a part of our community and you're not already part of it, join the community, girl. What are you waiting for? And if you need some more support in getting clarity and building your foundation and implementing strategies into your business so that you're not doing all the heavy lifting and getting visible and getting creative with different collaborations and partnerships, I am your girl. Let me be your business bestie. I promise you, you will not regret it. And I will see you next week.